Weather in the Western Cape. Let's return to the weather outlook. Heavy rains, gale force winds have lashed the Western Cape following an intense cold front, while some Capetonians celebrated the gushing rain pouring down yesterday. The city of Cape Town said its disaster coordinating teams were working to mitigate any possible problems. For more on the story, Brett Herron is joining us. He's the Western Cape Mayoral Committee member for Transport. Mr. Herron, thank you for being with us. Firstly, we presume no fatalities, no major injuries right now, but this is serious.
We have had very severe weather conditions over the last 48 hours and some very heavy but welcome rain, but no fatalities or severe injuries have been reported. And thus far, no displacements or relocations have been necessary. But we have experienced localized flooding across the metropolitan area as the stormwater systems really struggle to cope with the volume of rain.
One of our reporters spoke to someone talking about sewage and water pouring through shacks. So I guess it's always the vulnerable in informal settlements hardest hit.
The informal settlements are the hardest hit, and many of the informal settlements are unfortunately settled in inappropriate places, like within floodplains and in some cases even in stormwater detention ponds. Now those ponds are designed to retain stormwater overflows, and it's obviously not an appropriate place for people to set up home. So the informal settlements are our main concern and where the biggest impact has been felt.
Could there be evacuations?
Well, we haven't yet had to evacuate or relocate any families, but we're monitoring the situation. We know that there's some more rainfall predicted. It's raining as we speak. And our disaster risk management, our informal settlements management department, and our stormwater and roads departments are all really on high alert and working around the clock to respond to incidents when they're reported.
What roads are closed at the moment? What are you expecting for traffic as well tomorrow morning, people heading to work?
We haven't closed any roads at the moment. We had some road closures this morning due to rock falls. We know that there was some ice reported on higher lying roads, for example, coming from the far south, Boys Drive had some ice. But the roads are mostly open, but the roads are also where you experience a lot of flooding when stormwater gullies are blocked or the stormwater system is blocked. But we will continue to unblock these gullies and try and release the pressure from the road network throughout the night, and as residents report flooding to us.
Yeah, and I guess the usual warning applies for motorists to be very careful. What is the weather outlook for the next few days? What are you preparing for and those emergency teams preparing for?
So we have some very heavy rainfall predicted or forecast for this evening and maybe into tomorrow, some heavy wind forecast. But I think we're going to go into a few days of a few dry days, so there'll be time for us to recover. The teams, as I say, are on standby, and of course, prior to the winter months, we spend the drier summer months preparing the infrastructure for this wet weather that is part of our usual winter season.
All right, so the cold heading to Gauteng, we're not looking forward to that. Mr. Herron, let's end with the good news. So dam levels, we're hearing 42% in some cases. So how different is that from the situation just a few months ago?
Well, I mean, the heavy rainfall is very welcome from that perspective. The city's dams are at about 48%, so slightly higher than the average for the full complement of provincial dams. And substantially in better standing than we were this time last year and even in 2016. So despite the impact on residents and the impact is severe in some cases, the rain is very welcome with regards to the drought that we've been experiencing over the last 2 years.
Well, then, final quick question. Shouldn't there be some relief in terms of those water restrictions or not?
Well, we're not out of the woods. We still got two months ahead of us of when we would expect winter rains, and given climate change, it's impossible to predict whether this rainfall that we're experiencing now will continue. The dams, as I said, on average are only at 43% for the province and 48% for the city, and so we have a long way to go before our dams and our water storage is fully recovered.
All right, thank you very much. That was Brett Herron, Western Cape Mayoral Committee Member for Transport. Thank you for being with us.